Okay, so thank you. Hi, thank you for coming. For those of you who are here, it looks like we have one person watching now. So this is the voice you hear speaking to you now is Sharan Nixon. I am the founder, executive producer for Baltimore Fashion Week. And I'm not going through all that fluff because you all know. So tonight we're doing another, this is episode 3 of an interview with the fashion professionals. And we're going to start right now. So, hi. So, I'm here tonight and I have 3 other individuals. One is coming. One is coming. So, tonight we're going to talk about the fashion industry. Mainly, I'm going to cover it from a production standpoint. Then we have Tracy Gray, who is the owner of a modeling and talent agency. I believe it's in Virginia, but we'll bring Tracy on in a few minutes. And then we have Angela Couture. You all know her from the Virginia area, fabulous designer, very avant-garde couture-ish type designer, very transforming-ish. So we're just going to talk about the industry and how it affects us, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We're going to educate you, hopefully, and we're just going to talk about some things that you might not be aware of or some things that you should basically look out for. And we're going to also have some giggles. So let's introduce now, let's bring everybody in. And the first person I'm going to bring in is Tracy Gray of Gray Models. So that's Tracy. Hi, Tracy.
Hi.
So Tracy's in her fabulous home right now. I'm in mine, and Angela's probably in hers. So let's bring Angela on, and then we're waiting for McKinley Walker.
Wait, no, McKinley.
And so what I'm gonna do is mute your mics on your call until it's time for you to speak. You know how to do that, or you want to do it for you?
Let me see here.
I'm trying to get my hair right. This is such a job.
We good?
Yeah, I think the thing might be coming from you. So I got you. Don't worry about it.
She's getting a lot of back noise. So something.
Yes, I mute. I just mute it when it's time for Angela to talk. So Tracy, tell us a little bit about what you do and your agency.
Okay. Actually, I'm not in Virginia, but you're close.
Oh, okay.
I'm in North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like right at the edge of Virginia. But I started in Florida when I was just a modeling and acting coach for many, many years. And I went agency 2 years ago. Hurricane Irma hit my family really hard. And at that time, because I was just being a coach, I felt like I would be abandoning my people if I were to leave Florida, and I didn't know where I was going to land. So I was evacuated in Texas at the time, and my mom and my brother were there. My brother's a photographer. My mom's she used to be a modeling and acting coach as well, but she was a model from the time she was 17. And my dad's a photographer and video producer. So they're all in Texas, and they tried to get me to stay. And I went, nah, I don't want to stay in Texas. So my fiance, who is a 6-time Grammy-winning sound engineer, he had a friend in outskirts of Raleigh that they used to work together at the Hit Factory in New York City. And this guy, John, said, why don't you come out here and check it out? I have a private studio on 400 acres of land, and we can work together again. So we ended up in North Carolina as of 2 years ago. So when Hurricane Irma hit my family, I kept my training company going in Florida. So I have that, and the Florida agency is licensed and bonded and approved. And then I spread out to Texas, and I have San Antonio, where my mom is running things for me there. And then I'm now expanding in the Raleigh-Durham area from the past 2 years. So I ended up with 6 companies because I got hit with a hurricane. So that's me.
Oh, wow.
So anyway,
it's sad the way it started, but you've expanded so much. And I didn't hear about you until Angela had mentioned it when we were on a messenger. We were talking back and forth. And I said, I'm really looking for agency, but my issue is that I know you have to be bonded and licensed,
Right.
and so
Well, it depends on the state. I think Baltimore, it does require the license because I was
yeah,
just,
Maryland does.
yeah, I was at the Barbizon event, and it was for all that region. So it was run in DC. So it had Virginia and Pennsylvania and North Carolina and all the way through Baltimore. So I've been talking to a lot of Baltimore talent, and I was trying to figure out, if there's a real need for an agency in Baltimore that handle these people, that maybe it would be something I would look into in my whole big expansion thing. And if I'm already trying to find markets that I have become new to, then why not more new markets? I don't see a problem with it as far as cultivating the talent, figuring out who's good, who's not. I'm functioning a lot through webcam lately, and and booking things online and meeting people through webcam and having them send me videos of either their acting ability or their modeling ability and their whatever their portfolio pictures are. So I've been kind of doing my outreach that way anyway. So whether or not I can assist you, it's kind of a interesting thing. I'll have to talk to you about what the foundation does, because I know in Florida, when I was just a coach, there's strict agency guidelines there as well. And when I was just a coach, I was able to assist things with nonprofits or charity fashion shows, and that didn't require a license. So if that's the case, and it's a not-for-profit foundation, then I'd still be able to help.
Oh, okay, good. Well, we need to talk.
Yeah, we can talk, because I'm real particular. I guess the way that came about in Florida, you're dealing with Miami, and all of my people for the past 20 years were getting up to Miami standards so they could go to a Miami agency and not be considered developmental. And so I was very good at getting people past that level and getting them to the point where they're of that quality. And they often signed, in New York as well, or I send people to LA as actors. So I have a lot of people that were really high quality that came about from me, like fine tuning them and making sure that their hands are right and their feet are right and their poses are all correct. And I can't stand people that pigeon toe at the end of a runway. Hi, new person, you made it.
That's the photographer.
That's the photographer. So my models have always had great presence. They've had great technique. They've got great professionalism. And I've had designers often pull me aside and ask me, are those your girls? Are you Tracy Gray? And I'd say, yeah. And they said that I really need to show everybody else how the hell it's done.
Yeah.
And
I run into that, and I'm quite sure Angela can say I run into it. I'm over it. How about that?
Right.
But it's not an option for me not to do. Baltimore Fashion Week is 13 seasons old, and the designer debut is 4. So it's not an option of not doing it. It's just I need to find models that are ready.
Yeah.
And I'm quite sure McKinley and Angela can attest to this. I do the production of the show, so I'm casting the models and all of that, and I'm over it. Like literally, this was the last straw, and Miss Nice Guy has gone.
I think that the problem comes from people throwing around the word model like it's a hobby. I think that that's a really big problem, because it's not. It's an occupation. It's a profession.
It's a profession. Thank you.
To be a professional, you have to be able to know the skills that are necessary to be in the profession of a model. And people are just throwing this word around because they do TFP shoots with somebody and now they're a model. But that doesn't work. So now here we are with social media and all this access to people, but all the people are saying that they're a model when they're not really a model. And it's this huge weeding through process that's, like finding needles in haystacks, I guess. But that's what's necessary. Or you have to develop them. And a lot of agencies don't like to do that. But because I came from a training background and being a coach first, I'm more apt to help somebody get over that developmental stage and then hit my standard of quality and say, okay, now you're ready. So that's kind of how I do things a little bit differently than a lot of the agencies, is I'm willing to develop people.
I'm gonna keep quiet because my stats I use for my sponsors come from my social media. So to keep my numbers the way they are, I'm going to be quiet. I'm not going to even comment on that last thing you said because I can feel the numbers dropping as I speak now. Um, so yeah, so thank you, Tracy, for that introduction. So now let's go to Angela, and then we'll go to McKinley. Hi, McKinley. Oh, he's such a dude. Hey, what's up? Okay, Angela, you're up next. Women, let me unmute you. Okay, go.
Hello. My name's Angela. I am a fashion designer located in Richmond, Virginia. I have been designing now for over 35 years. Let me tell you how I started. Eighth grade prom. Two girls came into the prom with the same exact dress on. One stayed in the bathroom for the entire prom. The other one walked around like no problem, nothing had happened. And I promised that would never happen to me. From there on, I started designing everything that I wore, and that's how I became a fashion designer. But I've been modeling since the age of 8, not by choice because my mom made me. I didn't make you go do stuff you don't want to do. And I hated it because I was a tomboy, and I ended up falling in love with it because the instructor told my mom there wasn't a chance that I would ever go through with it. And I did, and fell in love with fashion and modeling, and that's how I got started. And just the norm is not good enough for me. I want something outside of the box that when you walk in, all eyes are on you. And that's Angela's Couture.
So tell us, you're the main reason why we're here.
There has to be a change.
Because of you and your Facebook post, we're here tonight to talk about this. And we try before anybody sends me an inbox message, coming for me and my live feed. I want you to know that I did reach out to models and nobody was available. Angela also tried to reach out to a model, and I'll let you know. I got something to do. The nightclubs can wait, but that's fine.
Right.
If you don't,
I was asked to participate in several of the New York Fashion Week shows. Okay. Bombarded. Oh, we'd love to have you. Here's a package. Check it out. Let us know. Blah, blah, blah. Now, that's all fine and dandy. I'm not quite sure who can afford a show on the 6th, a show on the 9th, one at $4,800, the other at $2,500 to show 12 to 15 garments. I'm not quite sure where I was supposed to get $7,300 for those 3 days, travel, eat, expenses to stay, this, that, and the third. And look at the shows and wonder what in the world is going on and why would I pay that kind of money for what I saw? So that's how this all started. When you want me to pay you $2,500 for people that cannot walk, and I'm not going to blame the models because it has to be the production fault. Okay, you opened this up, you started this. You had a model call, I'm hoping, and this is what you were going to present to me for me to come out and pay you my hard-earned money, my time for all of my designs. And this is what I saw when there is an X on the runway and you walked past 3 of them as though you did not know they were there or what you were supposed to do. Was there not a rehearsal? Was there not a run through? Why are we charging these astronomical fees? Why are these models not taught properly before they hit the stage? So you're not just hurting yourself, you're hurting these models, because now another designer is looking going, oh, I'll never hire her. Is it her fault? Or is it the production's fault? So that's, I was really upset because I said, had I paid my money, I'd have had to get a GoFundMe page to get me out. What is going on? I didn't understand. I've been doing this too long. for this to still be going on. This is 2019. We're going into 2020, and these girls still can't walk. Whose fault is it?
I will speak up. I think it's the producer's fault.
Has to be.
I don't blame because I'm very Miranda Priestley-ish. Like the Sharon Nixon you see now is not the Sharon Nixon at the castings. I don't care. I don't care about your life. I don't care about what you did before you got here because you're here to cast. And I will tell models no, and I'm sorry, you're just not ready. I did a video a couple of weeks ago telling models that if the Fashion Umbrella Foundation hosts a casting for 2020, and if models come to the table and they are not model-esque, you're going to be a no. I don't even want to see your paperwork. I don't care about your tears. I don't care how many planes you caught. I don't care how far you drove. If you're coming to my castings, you need to be on point. And if you're not, I can't do nothing with you.
But the problem is, you're still getting paid for this show. So it's not about production anymore. It's not about the models anymore. It's definitely not about the designers. It's about pocketing funds. That's what this is all about now. You don't care how the show apparently turns out or look. It's all about what are you going to get out of it? Because like I posted, if all you can talk about is how bad the model was, you didn't even see my collection.
Yeah.
And you go back and say, oh, she had on that black dress. That girl was absolutely horrible. She couldn't walk, she couldn't pose, she couldn't do.
Right.
What did my garment look like?
Right.
I'm not understanding. So it's all about pocketing funds nowadays. And model coaches, if you're asking these males for funds to train them, and this is what they're coming to the castings looking like, what are we doing? What happened to our fashion industry?
But on that, I know quite a few. I don't know what they are, producers. I don't know. I don't pick models. First of all, we don't pick models who can't walk because I can't stay in rehearsals. If I'm selecting you for our show, you already know how to walk. So there will be no rehearsals. I'll give you the day of the show. We'll do a run through, and that's it. And we usually have this year we had 126 models. Out of the 126, we had 46 males and the rest were females. We did not get a menswear designer. Two out of the males, 2 male models were selected. And any model that came to the casting, old and young, I don't care. I need you to give me what I deserve and what the designers deserve. And even when the designers come to the fitting, I don't even care that they're from because I'm going in on the models. Just like if you don't give me what you gave me the last time I saw you, which was at the casting, you're going home. It's just that simple. And I don't think that other producers do it like I do. I used to be a model, so I know that I don't want to see. I used to see when I was walking. That's why I started Fashion Week to get rid of what I saw when I used to model.
146 models.
But see, for New York, people charge these astronomical prices for designers to showcase during New York Fashion Week because they know they can get away with it. Because it's New York, we charge $900, and a designer can do up to 40 looks.
Question:
They do 40 individual models. This year we had to share because designers didn't bring their own models, but they usually get, if they have 35 looks, they get 35 models, and those 35 models get their own unique looks because we don't recycle within a collection.
Question:
Angela,
I pay you $2,500.
What? Oh,
if I pay $2,500, who in your audience out there is going to see it other than someone's aunt, uncle, mother, cousin, daddy, brother, and sister? Okay? If I'm going to pay you $2,500, $4,500, at least have someone out there that can say, oh, wow, I saw that. I would love to do this with her. purchase that, this, then. Now, I don't need to keep hearing, oh, that is beautiful. So what am I paying $2,500 for? Oh, I know, the lighting. The lighting. You know, that's in lighting.
$2,500. We would like to every year for Baltimore Fashion Week. And it is not $2,500.
The lighting, the models. Am I not using the same models the other model is using? This is what I'm trying to understand. I want someone to explain it to me because I'm at a loss.
Tracy's raising her hand.
Talk to me, Tracy.
Wait a minute, Tracy. Okay, go Tracy.
As a designer, would you rather have 40 unique individual models, one in each outfit, or would you rather have 20 models that can rock 2 outfits each?
Give me the 20.
Why?
I don't need 40 models. Okay, it's like this. Just like I said, if you've got 30 models, we're showcasing, each designer is showcasing 15 garments a piece. You already have your first and second model, your first and second designer lined up and ready. Where is your glitch going to come in at? Unless your models are not professional and do not know how to change in a timely manner, I don't understand why we need 100 models. I don't get that. I want my models to be able to walk more than one time. And that's what's happening. I got the call that's saying, well, Miss Angelia, you know, we go do these shows, we only walk once. What are you paying all this money for to travel to New York to walk one time for one designer?
For our show, we do 1 model per garment. We did recycles, as I stated earlier, for New York because the designers did not, it crossed over, and it was for this year, it was my fault, but for 16 and 17, each designer had their own model. They get 1 model per garment. That's why our shows only last 30 minutes. This year, our show was done in 32 minutes. Baltimore Fashion was done in like 7 designers. We were done in, I think, 38 because we do 1 model per garment.
But why couldn't it still last for 32 minutes? Even if you had 30 models, why wouldn't it still last? Because the show, I did my own show and I showed over 100 pieces of my own collection. I had 10 females and 4 males. Am I not right, McKinley? Show lasted for 47 minutes. Not one glitch. 10 females, 4 males, 14 people, over 100 pieces, and that show went just like that.
Because those models
I handpicked my models that knew how to pop, 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 pop. And they love it. They all want to walk more than once.
Yep.
When I modeled, I want to walk more than once. I call it double decking. If you model twice for the same designer, I used to call it double decking back in the day when we walked. I just don't understand the purpose of 100 models that now you've got to do makeup, hair, for all these models to walk one time. I don't get it. I don't get it. That's just my opinion.
In my opinion, the only reason why they do that is because they want to do some hair and makeup thing that's probably crazy. And then that takes away from looking at the design anyway.
Exactly.
So if you do simple looks that fit a collective, like the collection, then those models, I used to walk 5 to 7 times a show. Not once, not ever.
Look at a professional show. Every model has the same hairstyle, the whole same look.
Exactly.
I watched 51 models, 37 seconds. Pop, pop, pop. Now the glitch. Everyone had the same makeup, the same hairstyle, different outfit. Gone.
And you know their quality. And you don't have to worry about if they all show up. You don't have to worry about if they all have a good attitude. You don't have to worry about whether you have to have all those extra people trying to come in the backstage.
Exactly.
All that stuff doesn't happen.
And that's where the confusion and the arguing comes in, because now you got your backstage coordinator, you got 120 models. Her hair is like this because she's in an uproar because nobody's paying attention. Everybody's doing their own thing. It's crazy. Now you got models sitting because you want them there at 12. The show doesn't start till 7.
Right.
Nobody has gotten any food or any water. Nobody's feeding this. This is shows that I've seen. I'm not talking about yours, Sharon.
Right.
I'm just saying that this is what I see, and I'm sitting there
Right,
going,
because I was on a ledge. Oh shit, y'all can't even. Oh, can you? Oh, I'm not muted. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I curse? Sorry, sponsors. Sorry, sponsors, because I know they're watching. Sorry, sponsors.
okay,
I was
McKinley,
like, oh, good. No, we would
McKinley,
not do that in our show. McKinley, okay, you've been smiling the whole time. Now I want to hear from a photographer's standpoint.
come on,
You know,
come on with it.
huh? Okay.
Is he unmuted?
No, he's not. I haven't muted him.
McKinley. Hello.
He's shy.
No, he's talking, but who are you talking to? He's trying to figure out why you can't hear.
Because he's not muted on my end.
No, he might need to move closer to a router. I think he's got slow signal. See
Are
how
you
he's
hardwired in or Wi-Fi?
he is just technical difficulties.
Oh, okay.
Who are you talking to? Me? Okay, you can hear us, but we can't hear you. Oh, what? He's not on. What happened? You don't know why we can't hear him. Okay. I don't know either.
McKinley, go out and then come back in again. Use the same, go out and then use the same link and come back in.
You got your mic on. Yeah?
Okay, so he'll come back. So I know for us, we do our show one model per garment because when I first went to Grand Park in 2005, I like literally lost it the whole time I was there because I went to Ellie Saab and she had 87, wait a minute. She had 88 pieces and they were done in 17 minutes. And I sat there and I just really lost my mind. I'm like, this is so amazing. I need to figure it out and do this in Baltimore. And that's when I found a mentor and started doing Baltimore Fashion Week. And so that's why we do the one model per garment. Now, if we have, now this has been happening for going in 13 seasons now. We will have all the models. And so we select models that fit the designer's preference. So Angela, you say, I want models that are 14 to 16 into the casting. Angela, I'm gonna mute you because I hear the background.
Yeah. Is it me?
Yes, you. Do you have the YouTube open on your computer?
Whose computer? Hold on. Is that better?
No, not really.
Okay.
Well,
You might want to check the volume, your volume level on your laptop, because it might be hearing you, your microphone's hearing you twice or hearing us. So you might be getting kind of a back. Yeah.
Any better?
yeah, that's a little baby.
That's better.
Okay, I got everything closed. Is it me?
Yeah, you're fuzzy when you speak. It's weird. Yeah.
This one, say something.
Hello.
Oh, it's fine. We'll just deal with it.
Yeah, it's better than it was.
Yeah, it's much better.
Oh,
So that's why we have the one model per garment, but then we also have models that will walk, they might walk in every collection that evening.
and they're okay with that.
Yeah.
Hey, can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Oh,
Welcome
now we can
aboard.
hear you.
Y'all can hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Okay, what you want to know?
We want to hear your side of the story from a photographer's point of view.
Fast fashion shows or models?
Whatever you want to talk about.
Well, okay, let me introduce myself. My name is McKinley Walker Jr. I've been doing photography for 8.5 years, professionally for almost 4.5 years. I got let me see, 4 fashion shows of my own under my belt, um, 3 Winter Wonderlands, and I have a kids fashion show. Um, when it comes to runway, now I'm very serious about runway. Can I see everybody's face, or y'all just can see me?
Oh,
Or
we
do it?
just see you. I put it just on you.
Oh, okay, just on me. Okay. Um, when it comes to runway fashion showcases or shows, wherever you have it, my number one thing and concern is the lighting. When I first started doing it, I'm gonna say almost 4 years ago, it was regular lights like gym lights and certain up lighting that people use. That back then was okay, but now I would not do a show if it don't have the correct production because of the lighting on the garment, the lighting on also the body and the faces. I'm real discreet about that. I had to turn on a couple of shows this week because of that. When it comes to images, it shows up in your images. I just like critique sharp images that's normal, that doesn't have to be saturated or edited. So that's a real pet peeve of mine. Back then, I wouldn't have done it, been like that. But now, that's how it is. And this show alone, the show that's coming up for me in December, my production cost me $4,000. It's $4,000 in counting, and that's because of the venue where it's at, which is kind of dim with up lighting, with chandeliers and the regular lighting. You have to have some type of superior extreme lighting to brighten up the building and even the runway. So it cost me that. I know. I think I heard earlier you were saying that you don't have to use like lighting don't cost so much. Lighting is the most expensive part of a fashion show if it's to be done right.
Well, mine don't cost much because I've been working with them for a while. I
Okay,
got
that's
them.
cool. Can I
I
see
get some
somebody's face?
really
Just
good
I just see my
screen.
face. Can
Huh?
we?
Oh, you want to
I just
see?
see
You
my
want to see
face.
everybody?
Yeah,
Okay,
let me see
hold
everybody.
on. You want to
There we
see?
go.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, and when it comes to something like that, I just take it like very, very seriously. The models too much. I don't have really control over that. But far as designers now, this is the first time this year that I really got involved in it, meeting designers all over the country, and to see what they go through. I'm able to tell them what I want them to do in my show because some have the ability to do everything, like Miss Angie. I can tell her what I want, I tell her how I want it, and I know it's gonna be done right. But I also know that she has like the power to really knock it out the box, and that's what I look for in like my shows. When I go to these high end shows, I do nothing but high end fashion shows now. Um,
So
that
when you
means
say high end, what do you mean?
I mean celebrities like Donald Trump daughter, the lady from America's Top Model. I've been involved with a lot of these people. Angelo, something I forgot his name. People that's doing things like that. Even the Chinese market, as far as fashion, is just out of this world. I do things like that. I think society has really caught my attention because society has people from all over the world also. But the garments, now the models and stuff, I think like y'all was saying, sometimes the money they throw them in the shows and do whatever. but they still showcase a great fashion show with great production. And as long as you got production, then by me being a photographer, I can catch a great shot. So I can make that person look good or the designer look good because of the shot. They probably can't walk and do all these things, but when the designer and the model get their pictures, I'm like, well, damn, I did a good job. You see? So that's my only job. But I repeat, I would not do a show with gym lights or you cut the lights on and you bring your own lights. I don't even bring my own lights no more. It's just too much to carry on a bus or in a car or a truck. So I really, they're useless to me when it comes to runway, because runway you don't supposed to have flash. So when I
Right.
go to some of these shows, I see flashes. I see umbrellas. I see all these things at the end of the runway. You don't supposed to do that.
Umbrella. You mean like photo?
Yeah.
Wait
Yep.
a
You don't
minute.
supposed to, yeah.
Photo in the
Umbrella.
studio umbrellas?
Yes. You see them. Yeah. Soft boxes. You see them all the time. Um, it's made for studio mainly, but people use them at the end of the runway. I had to turn the show this week, like I said, because they didn't have the proper stuff. And it's a show that I really wanted to do. But if you don't have it, I'm not gonna work it. So that's my field. It's just photography. I try to be the best at what I do, but I love runway over everything. So and I know y'all love runway too. So that's what I do.
Yay! McKinley spoke.
Oh yeah,
Yay!
I was trying to speak for 10 minutes.
Oh.
Yeah, I was trying to speak for 10 minutes. So, but that's what I have to say. Like when y'all do y'all shows, like far photographers, please have the correct lighting. Please. That's all I ask. And I'll do a show. You know?
So when you say do a show, does that mean that you will come and cover it? And then what is your timeline or base in delivering the images?
With
Because I
me,
have a big problem with that, which is why I don't if I don't know you like that, you're not shooting my show.
yeah,
Bottom line.
that may be true. Okay. Me personally now, when I do shows, I get so anxious. I drop them the next day. Really, I don't supposed to, but I get anxious. Like I can come back from any city and I'll just drop the work. People like, what? Before everybody else even get home, the work is already out. For one,
But when you set your camera right and the lighting is right, you can do that. You
well, yeah,
should be able to shoot without the pictures being edited, and you can push them that way, because
well,
we work with Runway Authority, we work with JDH Photos and Williams Enterprises. Those are the only three photographers that shoot for us. I know when they shoot for me that I'm
mhm.
gonna have my pictures. Like I got pictures now, but I've been busy, so I haven't had a chance to put them up from our show last Friday in New
Mhm.
York. So and they will go up. So I'll probably stay up all night long and do those because. And then another problem I ran into with
Mhm.
some designers is that they think they're supposed to get every image. No, you get the best shot for that garment. So if you had 40 looks, you're getting 40 images.
Guess
Like
what? Everybody you name, I done shot with.
everybody what?
Everybody that you name, photographers, I done shot with.
Oh, okay.
They're my friends.
Small world.
I mean, we travel. Like Kevin Higgins, Charles Hunley, all of them. They're my boys.
Oh
That's when
yeah,
I
they're
got
my
them
boys
events.
too. Don't get it twisted.
Oh yeah. So we do this together. They got me in that high end stuff. I just took off.
So do you go with them when you cover New York Fashion Week?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I remember, I'm gonna tell y'all a story, and I know Charles and Kevin gonna see this. So I got receipts. So when they started shooting,
Hmm.
I think Kevin covered a show for me. And so
Hmm.
I said to him, I said, why aren't you shooting New York?
Hmm.
Oh, we're not good enough. We're not good enough. I was like, yo, I'm telling you, you're just as good as Getty Images, if not better. You
I'm
need to
better than
do
Getty
this,
Images.
go to this site, do this, fill us out, and then I bet you they're gonna be calling for you every year. And look at them. Look at them.
That yeah. I
Do
did a
that. How is this possible, Tracy?
yeah. But see, I did a shot of a girl from up in New York. She's from Virginia, named Morgan, right? And 3 days ago, Getty Images had put her workout and gave them to her mom. So I inboxed her mom. I was like, you couldn't wait for me. She said, well, no, they just gave them to me, but I know yours gonna be great. So I sent them to her mom, and they compared them. It wasn't even a comparison. So Getting Images, it's just a name, and
Right.
it's a group of people that they edit behind stage all the time. I found out how they do it. But the thing about me is, while the model is walking on the runway, guess what I do? I Wi-Fi and edit as they walking. Some already a step ahead. They asked me how I can do it. Like, you can walk on the runway right now, and my camera's out, I'm
Well, I
shooting.
won't be doing that, but
I'm just saying, making a point.
okay.
And I have this laptop, and it's Wi-Fi. It's editing. As they walk, by the time they go back to the dressing room, their picture's already out. So that's what I do now. Just try to diffuse all the competition, whatever they say. But that's what I do. So,
So when you release the pictures, do you release them before the producer of the show sees them, or because I that's another reason why I won't let outside photographers that aren't, like, if they say, oh, can I shoot your show, I'll ask around and say, well, I don't know him, well, they don't get in, because I found that before I get home, images are on Instagram and you haven't even sent them to me yet. Like,
well,
I think that's really rude that an image can end up on, first of all, the designer hasn't seen it. I haven't approved it, because I don't let any images, every photographer that shoots for me sends me the images. Once the images go up, I send them a link, if I remember to send them a link. And then once the pictures go up on our Zenfolio site, then those are the blessed images.
okay.
Like, they don't release them to the world until I see them, because
Okay.
I make sure.
You know what's sad about that too, though? Even before the photographers put it out, or before you see it, someone's already shot a picture with their little phone, and everything's on Facebook,
Well,
Instagram, whatever.
That we can't control.
Right.
That we can't control. But when I have people, like publications that want images from a designer, and I'll say, you know what, as soon as I get them, I will shoot them to you, blah, blah, blah. And I make sure that's done. If they see it on social media, they'll let me know. Hey, I just saw XYZ designer on this page. Did you give authority for that? And I was like, no. And so I'm inboxing that person, especially if they covered my show, if they were in my pit. I can't control what the people
Outside, right.
Can I say something?
But I'm only talking about the pit.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Miss Sharan, me and you will have a big problem.
Why?
Because he does that.
I mean, that's him.
Yeah. We will have a huge.
I just don't do that.
I understand that. We will have a big problem.
Why?
I'm gonna tell you why we'll have a big problem. Me as a photographer, right? Just say if I'm doing your event, I do so much work at one time. I feel like if I'm doing all this work, just say, especially if I'm not getting paid for it.
But see, I pay my photographers.
I'm not saying you don't. I'm not saying that.
Oh.
I'm gonna get to that. Because half the time we don't get paid for it. You got me? So,
well, when you don't get paid for it, then that's
let me finish.
That's a whole different story.
I'm gonna break it down to you. If we don't get paid for it, some people still have the attitude that you have, right? So in my mind, I work for myself. You're not gonna slow up my progress. And if I ain't signed no contract, I'm gonna do what I want to do with those pictures. You know what I mean? Because I'm known to shoot, and drop it. Now I can take 40 pictures of a model at one time and get like 3 or 4 of them published. I can send them to you or whoever. Oh, I like that. It can be magazine material. But the other ones I do for self. Now, if you're paying me and you say, McKinley, do not post these pictures, and I understand that. But from you, I'm like, what's the time? Can I do something for myself to promote something that I did? I will ask the person, can I promote something that I did for your show? And you can have the 40 or 50 pictures, but at least give me 3 or 4 of them that I can promote and say I did. And those ones do not make the magazine. That's how I work.
Right. Now that I respect. That I respect.
Okay, cool. I can work for you then.
See, we good.
Yeah, I can work for you. But
got a question.
I'm not as bad as they say I am. I'm a little bit, but not that bad.
Yeah, and I understand where you're coming from because, like in my show, this is what I did. I only got 6 photographers. You go to these shows, there's 20 or more. I only got 6 photographers. And one of my print photographers, all of them are runway capable. You know what I mean? If I don't care if you can shoot print, which may be gorgeous, but I need runway capable photographers. Everything is contracted this time around to give me all the images, like you said.
Yep.
Okay, you give me all the images, and then we decide as a photography team what we like.
Yeah.
Once we decide what we like, we'll shoot them to the designers. What y'all think about this? Then from the
Yep.
designers, the models get it. That's what
Yep.
we start doing that. This show gonna be the first time I ever did it like that. So going forward, I understand where you're coming from, but that's my protocol of doing everything, and everything has to be done in a 7-day a week. I push them hard.
Well, we did 14.
Okay.
We give a 14 turnaround time, 14 day turnaround time. So if you got it in 7, and my photographer give it to me like in 2 to 3 days, and sometimes the next day. I'm like, yo, I'm still asleep. But like, can you not right now? So I appreciate that. And then let me back up. So the photographers that cover our shows, even when I used to shoot for my agency when I was running it, he would do the shoot, and we would always say, okay, good shot, next look. Let's go to the next look, because I love the style. So you know, I'm this ready-made stylist. I do a good job though. But that was a little plug. But so like when we get the shot, we say, okay, next look. And so what he does is he'll go through the images and send me the best ones. Like I don't say like everything in your camera, send it to me, because it's their work too. And I don't have the same eye that they have. So what they normally do is go through the image. I don't know how they do it so quickly, but they do. They go through the images and then they shoot me what they want me to see, and then I pick out the best looks out of each one. And so they usually send me. I usually get about 6 frames per look, because there's a hot spot that we have with the runway. And when the photographers come, they meet with my main photography director, and he goes through whatever he goes through with them. This is the hot spot. These are lights, no flash, the aperture, whatever it is you all do, the f stop, whatever.
Yeah,
they do all of that, and then at the end of the show, after they do what they do, when they go home, they send me the images, and then that's what I put out.
Okay.
So it's not like it used to be when they were when New York Fashion Week was at Bryant Park. They had a media room, and so at the end of each show, that's when they were shooting on the little SIM cards, I think, and they would just dump it into. They had a media room, and Sharpie used to sponsor it, and so all the photographers at the end of the show would just go in there and dump their pictures, and then those pictures will remain the property of IMG. But they don't do that, as you clearly see, they don't do that anymore. But that's what I tried to implement when we did our first show. And I'm like, that's ridiculous. I'm not doing all of that.
So, question for you. You gonna invite me to one of your shows? You gonna let me shoot one of your shows?
Absolutely.
Huh?
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm the king. I got it.
I think you shot one of my shows before.
Me? No, I haven't.
You've never been to Baltimore Fashion Week at all?
I've been where?
To Baltimore Fashion Week?
Never, not one time.
Okay. I have a photo. Matter of fact, the one that'll be the cover. I've been talking to you. A guy named McKinley. He took that picture, and I need to correct the credits when this is done. But I think he took that picture.
Okay.
So that was back in 2015. So.
And look,
can I ask Tracy a question?
Yeah.
Do you do fashion shows with your models yourself? Do you all do your own production shows?
Do I produce them myself?
Yeah, I mean, with your own models. You all have your own fashion shows?
I just recently purchased the rights to Raleigh-Durham Fashion Week.
Oh, okay.
So that's going to be mine. I haven't really had much time to put towards it with all this like moving and finding people and stuff, but I have the LLC for that.
Okay, so you got the photographer, you got a designer, and let's make that happen.
So I'll just put everything in you guys' hands, and I'll sit back.
Okay.
So listen, y'all make sure Miss Sharan, Tracy, y'all come to our show in December.
When is it and where is it?
It's December the 21st. It's at the Renaissance Antique Building on West Broad,
Richmond, Virginia.
Richmond, Virginia. Okay. Yeah, Charles and Kevin will be there. Make sure y'all come on.
Of course they'll be there. This is fabulous. They make me sick.
Miss Sharan.
I love them to death. Oh my God.
Miss Sharan.
When
you do your fashion show.
Sharan.
Sharan.
Jeez, McFree.
You have a model coordinator when you do your fashion shows. Or do you do everything?
I pretty much do everything except for the day of the show. I'm not allowed in the production area.
Okay.
I'm serious, because I come back there and I see stuff and want to change it, and it becomes a problem. So if you see me in the back of the production area, it's because I'm coming back there to get somebody and remove them, bring them home, or it's something back there that I really need to get. And usually I'll send one of our interns in the back to get it. Because I do everything before the show. The day of the show, we have a lead hair. She picks her own people. We have a lead makeup. She picks her own people. And then we have a director for back of house, and he picks his own people. Everything is done. I just drop off stuff and they make it happen. The hair and the makeup team, if the designers do not have their own models, and that has been an issue with us in the past, because the models come in that the designers bring, and then they have this attitude. And see, I'm not one for it. So we're all one big happy family here. And so your attitude, I'm gonna really need you to leave it at the door. So all models must sign our guidelines. And I hold every model to it. The guidelines is 8 pages. And it goes over everything. And I got it printed out when I'm standing on the floor. So I can, every year it seems like I have to add something else to it. Like, come on. But I don't go in the back, and when they call me, it's one or two things is going to happen. Y'all either need to work it out or somebody's going home, because they know not to call me. Models are not allowed to change their hair and makeup. They have to shampoo their hair. They cannot come to our shows when weaves or sew-ins. If they do, they have to get it approved by my lead hair. They can't wear braids because they don't know how to clean their scalps or keep their hair clean. They have to come in their natural state. Makeup, the makeup team does the makeup. The only thing we ask the models to bring, and hopefully this sponsor will say yes, and I'll talk to them next week for makeup. We ask them to bring their foundation and concealer. That's it. And the makeup team does everything, and our looks are very clean.
When it comes to, okay, so you say each model models one garment.
Yes.
Do they know, they do not know the garment they're modeling until that day of the show?
Whoa. We have one
fitting.
We have
Okay.
all the models to come in, and all the designers are required to come in, because we have a lot of designers that come from outside the country. Mm-hmm. So we know they can't make it. So what I do is, it's a lot of stuff I do. So I take every application and I drop it into a spreadsheet. It has the model's name, email address, if they're under 18, their parents' email address, and their model stat. And I send that to the designer along with the images we took at the casting, so they can get a pictorial view of the model. So if it's 146 and you know it's Allison Tree, you can go to Allison Tree and see what Allison looks like. The day we do not do fittings, there is no model selection the day of the show. Every model knows who they're walking for at least by July 15th. And that's for Baltimore and New York. July 15th, every model knows who they're walking for. Each designer has to sign off on the form, because we all know that models will come and we don't do rehearsals, but models will just show. I noticed used to have, when I used to walk, models would just show up and be like, well, she never came to the rehearsal, and now you out of a garment. And so to that, we have every designer sign off on their model list. If they should change the list or a model doesn't walk, none of the collection walks. And it's in their guidelines too.
So
So
all
they're
146 walk.
day of. Say it again.
Everyone walks. All 146 models walk.
No, it's like a pool. So say we have this year we had we had 8 designers, and I let one go the week before the show because she was just non-compliant. So I removed her, and we had 7 designers. And so the 7 designers picked from this 100 and we had 126 models total. They get to pick who they want. My job is to line them up so that each designer gets a complete flood, because that can be the problem. If you have 5 models walking for designer A, and then those same 5 are walk before designer B, they can't be behind each other, because now you're shortening the flood.
Right.
And then you have models that need to hurry up. Well, first of all, our models don't dress themselves. We have people in the back that dress them. And this might be kind of foreign, but this is all I saw when I was in Bryant Park. I had the ability to go behind the scenes and watch everything they did. And I'm telling you, I stood against the wall and cried. It was just beautiful. And so everything I saw at Bryant Park, I brought here. And that's how we do our shows. And that's why our shows are so short. The first 2 designers are lined up 10 minutes before the doors open for the show. And then after that, we have the designers line up on the walls, and so each designer and model know exactly the order to show, who's next, who's third, because I tell them that the week before the show.
Tracy.
Yes.
You train and teach models.
I have for
I'm just
2 years.
You do.
Yeah.
Garment bags and all. What they're supposed to have in model bags, shoes, hair, skin.
My models, it's like I make sure they know their I's, their S's, and their C model poses. I make sure they use model C hand positions. When they walk, one girl stopped mid-runway because I was watching her, and I was watching her so intently because I'm looking at the alignment of the body and the head tilt and whether the shoulders are okay and whether there's hip sway or no hip sway, and if they're walking like I like when they walk like a Barbie. And I want their feet to go directly in front of each other, and I want to make sure they're posing in the correct positions and that their torso is right and that their posture is right. I check all that stuff, and then expression. So
how we were taught back in the day. So somebody's missing the training.
This is
McKinley. When you see a picture and you see the model's head is connected to her chest, she has not been taught properly.
Correct.
Because you don't see any neck. You should stay level. You don't see a neck. You see
it's like
you don't see broad shoulders. You see drop shoulders in pictures.
That.
I see it every day all day.
Yeah.
Look, I see you, Sharan. I see you. It just drives me crazy when I get these pictures back.
I will send a text to the back if I see that, and I would tell whoever answers the text, I send it to several people, send her home and tell designers I don't play. You try it on my runway after I have seen you. That's why you're selected, because you can do what you can do here. But don't think, because models will get slick and they'll try to, do what they want to do on the runway, and nothing will happen, sweetie. You're a hanger. I got several more.
There have been some shows that I was model coordinating for this one event that in Naples, Florida. There's a woman that runs something called Girl Talk TV, and every year she does a different fashion show, and she'll bring in some designers or she'll use local boutiques, and she'll do a mix of both. And for a while, she was allowing the boutique owners to choose their own models. And when she did that, I almost said, I'm not coordinating for the rest of your show because I won't deal with the boutique owner or the designer's best friends that aren't models. And I mean, we had one boutique where they were all this woman's best friends, and they got drunk backstage. And so here's all my great models and then in the middle of it come these drunk chicks. And I'm like, I don't know that I'm going to do this next year. And I said, I said, I need to make sure that I have approved every single model that's in the show. If you're going to slip a logo on it, I'm not okay with that. So yeah, I know what you're talking about. And I know how
I don't think people understand the frustration maybe from designers. Because when I've gone to shows, and well, this is one thing I do hate. Don't pick my models for me.
right.
Oh no,
Let me choose my models.
Pick your own models.
Yes, let me choose. You know, I had a list, and these are your models, and I'm like, huh? These are your models. No, don't pick my models for me. Let me pick my models. Models come. The girl came. She had flower underwear on with a matching bra. I'm sure it was cute from Victoria's Secrets, whatever the case may be. But what am I going to do with that with a white garment on, and all I see is a bunch of flowers underneath?
What did the day of the show?
The day of the show. She said no one told her. No one told her. Now, they come in with the shoes that they wear every day to work. This is not runway proper. That is not runway.
You know, what's funny is now that I'm going around to different places and I'm scouting, I'm scouting people that someone else has trained. And what I have found is the trainers that some of these major companies are hiring are people that graduated from their training company and never worked a day. They just are people that did well in the class. So the perpetual lack of quality control is just
unbelievable,
continuously going, because you're taking somebody who's uneducated and having them train uneducated people and then upping the other educated person to the level of a coach. And that's not a coach.
Are you laughing at me, McKinley? You know my frustrations. I can't deal. Do they know how long it takes designers to sit here and design and come up with this stuff? And then you get to a show and you're like, I drove 5.5 hours to New Jersey to be in a show. I got to the show. There were 2 adults. One was 20 and one was 21. Everybody else was 14 and 15 years old. What was I going to do with that?
My
daughter never walked. I have some stuff that's sheer. I am not putting that on you. I did not understand, and she didn't know why I was leaving. I told my husband, pack it up, let's go. So we did a sightsee of the highway, but it was okay. I got back in my truck and I came home, because you can't just put on a show just to be putting on a show.
And I think
if you're doing a show, producers, you got to know your designers, because couture doesn't go with spandex tube dresses. I'm sorry. And now you're wondering why, oh my God, I love your style. I guess you did. Also, if you've got 15 designers, I'm not quite sure why, but anyway, you have to understand that people aren't going to sit for so long. Okay. So now you want to make me the last designer. There was 312 people at the show. When I showcased, there was 24 people left. 15 designers, 312 people. But you just took anybody that say they were a designer and put them on the runway. Now everybody, I'm looking down from upstairs. You got people out here like this. Now they're frustrated, they're mad. You see them leaving. I get out to showcase. Everybody's gone. When we counted, there were 24 people out of 312.
Wow. Well,
I'm not understanding why it needs to be so many designers in one show.
Because our show was too short.
You said yours was too short. A good show is 45 minutes to an hour.
She said, oh, it's 9:02. You said on the paper you were in at 9:30. I said, ma'am, that's fluff. She said, well, I expect to still see. I said, ma'am, are we really having this conversation right now?
For 28 minutes, really?
We're like, my son and I are like cringing because we were 30 something minutes. Are you kidding me? I'm sitting here like, what is taking so long? So he was the only one this year for New York. I had to let somebody go an hour before the show. And that was his only help. So I would talk to him before I did what I had to do from a producer standpoint. I said, I'm just letting you know if I do this, it's just going to be you. I'm going to be out front. You're going to have to handle the back. If you need me, I'll come back here and help you. So the very last designer, I had to go in the back because it was gowns and it was hats and it was gloves. And he was telling the models when to walk. So the designers each get an assistant. Well, moving forward next year, because we're done with that. No more assistants. We're not doing any more assistants moving forward. So designers, if you're watching this and you wanted to register next year, there will be no assistants. So figure it out. I don't know. Figure it out. So and I had to go in the back and help him with the last designer to get them dressed. And because if you're going to have a designer assistant, your designer assistant should know your collection just like you. I'm not talking about your homegirl or your girlfriend or your cousin or your sister because they think they're going to see the show, because they won't. They won't.
That's for the pre-show.
There will be no show for you. You'll see the show when you see the pictures, because if anybody's going to see the show, it's going to be the designer, because they should be out there talking to press and everybody else. It's crazy. Like, where did you get this from? Oh my God. I don't know how you do it, Angela. I don't know.
I love designing. I will pick my own models. I just want, like I said, it can be a new model, but a new model can be a great model if she's trained properly.
Angela, how many shows are you doing a year?
I was doing so many at one time. I was wearing all my clothes out. It was crazy. This year I've only done 4 because I stopped. I can't go in and I said they're just wearing my clothes out. Hygiene. Why am I paying $82 for a cleaner's bill? Because I've got to put my garments in the cleaners.
Wow.
You can't come from work to do a fashion show. You didn't bring wipes, you didn't bring towel, you didn't bring soap, and you wanted to walk in mine. Oh, you just came from work. Well, I didn't have time to go home. Okay, let's think about that.
Women,
So
they just came from work. Who did their hair and makeup?
Say it again.
If they just came from work, who did their hair and makeup?
They went to hair and makeup, but they came from work. You were supposed to be at the place at 4. You got there at like 6:10. Show started at 7, and I had already said I got somebody else. You weren't there. So now we're packing up my clothes, and all I can smell is this odor. And my husband's going, "Oh, you gonna be mad?" I said, "Why?" He said, "That's your garment. I can smell it through the bag." Okay. I never have a problem with males. Never. Females, I have no clue as to what's going on. I'm sorry, y'all be mad, glad, happy to say it if you're watching this. Hygiene is a must. Proper undergarments is a must. Shoes is a must. Okay, stop laughing, because I know you're laughing at me, but it's okay. It's just a must. I do not understand that. And this is why I'm trying to figure out who's training or what's going on, or are we really just getting people off the street and doing shows because they say they can walk?
Off the street.
Off the street.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
And and here's the thing. What I think is perpetuating in the industry, between what I've said before about the Instagram models and the TFP models, and then the people that are being trained by students and all of that, it's perpetuating a poor quality of model, and then nobody wants to pay them anymore.
Exactly.
Because nobody really understands that the models, the real models, the actual models are skilled and they're worth every penny.
And there is no show without the model.
Exactly.
So I don't, like I say, when we walk, we got paid. So nobody's getting paid now, and they're not going to get paid because the quality models are being pushed to the side because they want to get paid, because you're hiring Becky Joe and Tweeter off the street because they just came in and say they'll walk for free.
Sure.
So your quality, seasoned, well-walking models are not coming to the forefront for these reasons. And so they're getting shortchanged, but you're shortchanging me. I'm the one that's getting shortchanged because now this is all I've got. And you want me to do a show, but I can't see it. So
Well,
don't.
I know that we just, as I mentioned earlier, before Hensley, before we went live, we just started paying models this year, and the reason why we didn't because I couldn't afford it.
Right.
Right.
And moving forward, it's not an option. And as I mentioned earlier, if they became a member and we paid them through an honorarium, if they became a member of the organization, they got paid. So if you walked 3 days, or well, it was only 2 runway days for Fashion Week, and the ones that did New York, if they became a member, they will get paid for New York as well. And New York, the site is more because it's not in Baltimore anymore.
So I got a question. Let's say you only had 30 models opposed to 100.
Now we've never had that low number.
I'm just saying, but let's just say that.
I wouldn't have a show. I can't have a show with 30 models.
But
I could do your show with 40 models.
I don't see how you can. I mean, that's what I'm used to.
Because
I'm trying to say, if you got 30 models and you've got an abundance of attendees, your designers have paid whatever the figure may be. Maybe if you didn't have 100, you could go ahead and send some of those proceeds to the models because you've only got a few that you can say thank you to.
Who are awesome and can handle the changes and are
Right.
never bothered and don't smell.
the ones that we have had in the past that have, whether we picked 100 or 175, and then the designers come in and they dwindle that number down. So then they pick who they want. Once the designers pick who they want, then that's our final number. We don't have 100 models to show up the day of the show.
Okay.
So I get these 100 models or whatever the number is in the door. And as I tell them, what got you a yes is what could ultimately get you a yes for a designer.
Okay.
So when
I got a theory, right? I got a theory.
Okay.
Instead of charging the designers, let the designers pay the models.
Yeah, where you at?
Okay.
I'm just saying, if you could give each model $50 and you had 10 to 15 models, it's basically coming out to the same $2,500 that they're trying to charge me to do these shows anyway.
I don't know why they're charging. I can't speak to the $2,500. We've never, when we did our first Fashion Week, I think the fee was $75.
Oh my gosh.
And
I want to show you the contract so bad, but I just don't want to put nobody out there on blast.
Wait a minute. And this year, the fee was $500. For New York Fashion Week, it was $9. We're in, we're out. I don't think we don't have, in my eyes, yet, and I'm building on that. I've been spending the past while I was in New York, I was in meetings with people up there in New York, and since I've been home, it's been crazy meeting people. We don't have the benefits to charge $2,500.
I don't
So
know
why
why.
charge the designer all that money if you don't? Who is sitting in your seats? If you don't have press, we had Elle Magazine to come to the New York show. Elle Magazine was there. That's a start for us. That's a huge start for us to have Elle Magazine. I turned down almost, now I counted it, I think it was like 70 something people, because we ended up on the calendar, the Fashion Week, the New York Fashion Week calendar, we were bombarded with all these requests. And when I vet them out, I'm like, who are you? Your blog page has errors. Your work is horrible. I'm not giving you. So what I'm going to do is reach out to them for next year and tell them to send me their EPK or their press kit or their media kit, and then we'll see if they make my press list. Then, because of the solo designers, the solo showcasings that we're doing for next year, once these press people have been vetted by me, and I vet them very hard, if they make the list, the designers will get that list and they get to invite the press or whoever they want to their seat. All I ask is if you pay my fee, you can do whatever you want to do with the seats. If you want to sell them, if you want to invite Joseph and Mary from Jerusalem, you can do that. This is your time. This is your show.
I'm gonna have to show. I had to show a couple of the models because I don't know if they thought I was joking or lying, but I said, okay, here is the package deal that I was sent. And she's like, $4,800 to show 16 garments.
That's crazy.
I just wanted you to know that Angela's not lying to you. This is what I get from if it's not London or whoever. These are the things that I get, and these are the packages you're offering me. I'm not quite sure how any designer can make it paying those kind of fees.
Oh, of course not.
Show.
You know, here you are, you're just trying to sell your line and get it out there and let people see what's available. You're not going to recoup that kind of expense.
At all.
No, that's crazy. That's crazy.
And you asked how many shows have I done this year? This is why I stopped. I can't.
I know quite a few producers in New Jersey. I don't know about the DMV area. Excuse me, especially during New York, during Couture Fashion Week and New York Fashion Week. I could name 3 right now that charge these astronomical fees, and your show is shit.
Hey, thank you. And I can guarantee you, I probably got it in my email right now asking me to showcase. I can't. Come on, think about it. 10 to 12 garments, $2,500.
Why would you go to New York doing 10 to 12 garments? If you want to go to New York, you need to bring it, and you need to bring it hard. Our max is 40. If you want to do 60, all I need to know is how many you doing. I have a designer that's registered already that's talking about doing 40 looks for New York. I said, all I need.
Are they 40 quality looks though?
Yes.
Okay.
He is I'm very picky. I just don't select designers because they can sew. I don't select designers for, let me get 25,000 designers in here. No, quality over quantity.
Okay, exactly. There you go. Yeah, and that's how it should be with the models.
Started the first 2 years, we had 42 designers showcasing over a week. That was 5 days. Then we dropped down to 4 days, and then it was 3. And I said, you know what? Back in 2014, I said, you know what? I'm sick of all these designers with these attitudes. They don't know what they're doing. They're not qualified. So now everybody needs to meet with me, and it's a pre-approval process. And if I approve you, you're in. If I don't, then you need to go back to the drawing board. And I'm not playing because I got too many people watching what I'm doing. Right. And I'm not losing that. I'm not. These people can really make differences. I'm talking 19th Amendment. I'm talking people, possibly Elle Magazine, Linger Magazine out of Boston. It's just like, it's crazy. And they're not ready. And I'm not putting them on. I'm not wasting my time. It's a waste of my time and a waste of their money. If you think that I'm just going to take your money to put you, I need to make sure your seams are clean. Is your zipper invisible? Or do you have any ravels? Did you put your buttonhole in correctly? The button you're using, does it fit through your buttonhole correctly? Is it too big? Like, come on, like, why? Do that over there. Do that over there, because we don't do that over here. So take that somewhere else.
That's what I'm going through, Tracy. This is what I'm going through.
You know, I have one designer friend that I love her work. I just absolutely adore her, and she does some really incredible, like the gowns have these amazing gathers on the straps with a really well done bone bustier type bodice, and it's beautiful work that she hand paints on it. Some of it glows in the dark, and then she does some things that are a little even like wackier, like she'll do things with. I've seen gowns that are made of garbage bags that look like crap, but she makes a garbage bag one that looks like it's amazing. Like it's just so constructed and crafted. And I'm so tired of watching people with like caution line and
the tape.
and scrubby things or whatever. And they're doing all this stuff that doesn't look like an actual garment. I understand it if it does. This is my daughter, Isabel.
I'm waving to you. I'm waving to your daughter.
She's got on this shirt that says, "I'm sorry for what I said when I'm sleepy."
Sleepy. So beautiful.
Yeah, Izzy can work a runway. She's kind of something else. But she went to LA with me just recently and had some managers really like her out there too. So
okay.
Yeah, she's a chip off the old block, but I'm not forcing her to do anything she doesn't want to do. And she wants to do it all, don't she?
But you all know why I was on Facebook ranting. I wasn't ranting. I was trying to get help. Somebody help me, explain it to me, do something, because I'm missing it.
Well, I think Tracy, do you have something to say? I'm sorry.
The days when I do what I consider a vent, like I'll hit a day where I need to rant on Facebook, and I know it. And like those days, it seems to me as soon as I do that, and I feel like, oh my God, I'm just being right now. But I go out there and I suddenly say exactly what's been brewing inside me for so long. And I put it out there, and all of a sudden these people start to like get in touch with me about going, I really liked your rant. That was really great. It's like, okay, I guess I should do that more often. I make friends.
Somebody got to speak. Somebody got to say something. We got to have a change. It's got to be a change.
Well, hopefully people that watch this video, because it will be on our YouTube channel. Unfortunately, I can't load it up to IG because of the length, but I might cut it. I'll probably pay my son to do it because I don't know how to do it. Get him to slice it up,
right,
10 minutes, and put it up on IG. Because the other one we put up there, we got like over 231 views or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, power of social media. But I thought it was really, really good. I think it's a starting point. I also think it's a door opener or a conversation starter or continuance for more conversations like this. I think people, I really thought that more people would chime in. But they probably didn't because
they did. They're not doing it live. They're doing it behind the scene. This is where all the chitter chatter comes in because you want to hit me on a personal note or you want to call me because either you don't want someone to see that. But Miss Angie, you can be our voice. No, I don't want to be your voice. I'm my voice. Speak for yourself. Mm-hmm. You are a model or you are a designer. Speak for yourself. I'm going to speak for me. Right. But I can't keep doing this, and I'm not going to pay you $2,500, $4,800, or even the $5,200. And what was one wanted me to pay? I could pay $20,000 and have my own show. I can do that myself. I have 20 grand. I can put on my own show. I don't need your backing for that. What am I getting out of it? That's all I'm asking you. What am I getting for all these fees that you want to charge me? And you can't tell me, McKinley, that the 4 o'clock show was bad, but the 8 o'clock show was better. Okay, if I give you my $2,500, are you going to give me the 4 o'clock show or the 8 o'clock show?
But from a designer, if you're doing your own show, you get to invite who's in your seat, right?
Yeah, that's if I do my own show. I'm saying they sent me a package that say I could pay X amount of dollars, 20 grand, and I could have my own private show. What I need to pay you that for? I can do that.
I don't know the producers, so I'm not. I mean, if I did, I would say it, but I don't. So was this in New York or New Jersey?
Yes, this was New York. I showed it to my husband. He said, "What?
Was it at the post office or Studio 59? Was it there? I'm just curious."
I can't remember exactly what. I'll tell you. But You know,
Because I know when I look, and this is not, but one thing about me is when I select the venue that we're going to have our events, it is not predicated on, oh, we need 45,000 designers to meet this fee. Because normally I pay the fee before the show even comes. Half of it's paid before the first designer even pays their registration, because I don't depend on ticket sales to meet the bottom line for our events, which is probably why our registration fees are the price they are. And then I'm being, I'm in trouble now because I've been told my fees are too low, but I don't think the need of increasing them needs to be there if we don't have the benefits to offer it.
mm.
So, Sharon, are you going after corporate sponsor?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Are you finding that to be successful?
It is. You just like it started. I've already started for corporate sponsors already because they go to budget next month. So my goal is to get in front of them, and the presentation, I have to tighten it up. So I sent my introductory email to the ones that are mainly on our site already, because it's all about how much you're asking for. And it's because I know that formula, I can ask, usually what I ask for, I get. But I don't go in there asking for $100,000. Like, really, I don't, my venue didn't even cost that much. It's just like, I mean, I understand the formula behind it, but that's probably why we've had so much success with our sponsors, because we don't try to financially take advantage of them. This is what I need. This is my budget. Can you be a sponsor? And we don't even, in our sponsor package, we don't even have levels unless they ask for what are the levels you offer. And then I'll send it to them. Normally I'll say, can you be a sponsor for this amount of money? And they say yes, and they send it to us.
Okay.
But I've been doing sponsorship for
Hey.
almost 15 years.
Everybody.
Bye.
Yeah, I got to go
Bye.
back to the studio. So nice meeting y'all and talking to y'all.
Yep.
All right. Have a good night.
Thank you for your point of view.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Well,
So we do sponsorships. I'm the only one. My mom, she works in the office during the day, so she goes after all the promotional products and the gift cards. You get really hefty, I mean, really nice gifts. Like, can I just like, you really want to keep them? Like, do I really want to give them to these people who probably don't need a diamond bracelet? Like, really?
oh wow.
Like, really, I'm talking really nice. Smythe Brewers is one of our sponsors, and they've been a sponsor for 4 years. So it's, but you have to weigh your when you want to reach out to, who you want to reach out to, because we also have a gala and a gala, however you pronounce it, in March that I'm gonna be asking them for sponsorship. So I'm very careful on how much I ask for, because I'm also going to come back and I'm going to ask for your support in August and September. But I let them know that I'm very upfront with my sponsors. And a lot of them, we've been dealing with them for almost 12 years.
Right.
And it's all about presentation. I send them my presentation, and it's always a yes, always. There's no questions to ask, but how much do you need? Or how much do you want from us? And that's in the email.
Cool.
So yeah, I'm very good at sponsorships. Now, if I could just
extra more and then pay the models along.
say it again.
You get a couple of extra sponsors that you didn't have before, and then pay the models a lot.
Exactly. And that's the goal for this year. My goal, if this was a perfect world, and I always tell people, if I had in our business account the money that I would love for us to have, I would not mind paying a model $200, $300 a show.
Yeah. See, if you're paying a model $300 a show, $200, $300 a show, then they have to walk for you more than that.
Oh yeah. But if we're paying them $200-$300 a show, and they're only selected to walk one or two designers, because they're qualified, I
Yeah,
selected you because you're good.
because you're
So
good.
if I said yes, then you're good enough to be paid. I'm not just taking everybody that comes through the door. Like tears are shed, and I don't care. I'm looking for the best, and if you can't give me that, then you do somebody else's show.
You know, it's what I really like about this kind of conversation, this whole kind of my takeaway from it is that although the quality of the talent pool seems to be seeping away, um, the the demand for the quality of the talent is still what it is.
Mhm.
So,
That's true.
here's these models that I hear all the time. They're going, "Oh, you don't need to get an agent, or you don't need a model coach, and you could be a natural." I've never met a natural in my life, and I've met hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of models. So it's one of these, myths about not paying anybody. You never pay your agency anything. Well, that you don't ever have to pay anything to be a model. You're not supposed to pay your agency and a placement fee ever to be a model. And that's what it all started off with, that whole quote that people have passed around. And now it's morphed into you don't have to pay for anything to be a model. And I'm sorry, but you do still need to learn skills to be in a profession. And I'm sorry, but you still need to go and pick good people to do your photography for you, market you so that you can sell yourself. And you're responsible for getting that printed. And
Right.
these models think that that's not what they're supposed to do. So the more that they're uneducated by this kind of talk, where people think they're just going to be discovered and then thrown on the runways and paid enormous amounts of money, the more that they're fed that kind of a BS line, the more that we end up with people who think they're good. And they show up and we still have to weed through them and tell them that they're not. And then they end up in tears.
I
They
don't
shouldn't.
care about tears. It's the industry. It's a tearful industry. It's not an industry that is here to coddle anybody. Either you do or you don't. Either
Right.
you're a yes or a no. There is no in between in this industry. And I think people need to understand that. It's a very cutthroat, either you do or die type industry. I'm sorry, but I don't, I want what I want. And either you give it to me or I get it from somebody else.
Right.
I mean, that's just how it is. These
And
designers spend a lot of time. I have a designer right now that's buying fabric for something that's in August. We're talking almost 11 months away.
yeah,
And so for them to spend that time, whether they spend $2,500 to do my show or 400, it's still the same amount of caliber that they need to have to present their garments. I am not to be played with, and anybody who knows me knows that. That's probably why I don't return.
there just seems this huge rash of people that are out there in the world that are trying to applaud mediocrity. And they're
Ugh.
patting people's egos this way. And then when they end up making this leap into where the real world is, then suddenly they're told that they're not any good when they believed it all this time.
But
And
that's because they're doing shows, they're paying for registration. Let's talk about that. We did not talk about that, Angela.
Registration.
So I want to talk briefly about models who are forced to pay a registration fee for what?
right,
I am a producer. I have never in 15 years charged a model. I don't even ask them to sell tickets.
right. Oh,
They
that's
don't even have- the only thing I ask them to do is if you feel like it, put this on your page, on your social media page. It is the designers, and it's my job to push this show. They're in it. Next year, we're doing individualized marketing for each designer. Here is your marketing material. It has been blessed by me. Please go in the world, go forth in the world and share it. It is not my job to fill the seats for your collection. If you
They
are a
are
designer,
paid.
if you are a designer, you should have, first of all, the shows should be for clients and those who support you. And I have run across quite a few designers that don't have that support. And I
Mhm.
understand you're fresh into the industry and that you're trying to make it work. But somewhere along the line, you need to tell Cynthia that this garment costs $200 and stop giving people stuff on the arm. Because at the end of the day, you're losing out. And then when you get frustrated and you get to a point where you're tired of people taking advantage of you, now you want to charge them $200. It's $200. Either you want it or you don't, Cynthia, because I need to put this on Etsy or I need to sell this on my Shopify account or whatever. And that's where that loss, I call it a loss of respect when designers diminish their price. If I go to a designer and I want something, I want them to make something for me, I don't want you to give it to me. How much is the garment? And let me tell you if I can afford it.
Exactly. But the registration, let's go back to the registration.
Oh,
25. Now this is the lowest I've heard is 25. The highest I've heard is $200.
Why are you paying to be in a show that nobody can guarantee that you're going to walk?
It's all so
And
stupid.
you don't get your money back. That's why I put that on there. You're asking me to pay you to be in a show, but I'm not even guaranteed to get picked, but I don't get my money back.
That's crazy.
So who pays to be in? Who pays to walk? They do that in New York.
Angela,
I just
do not do that. The reputable companies in New York do not do that. Listen to me what I'm saying. The reputable companies do not do that.
That's why I said everybody's milking their pockets with all this foolishness. You're hurting the industry. You're making yourselves look bad. I don't understand. I
went to another Fashion Week event, and I'll tell you, this was my first one after moving here, and I was given VIP, and yet when we arrived, we were led through this very long winding queue in a room with no air conditioning, and we were the first in front of the doors, and we stood there for 45 minutes waiting to be led to sit down. Now, once we sat down, the production person from the show, she came out and did a whole big long thank you to the sponsors thing, which the DJ had been doing the whole time we were sitting anyway. So we'd already heard all this stuff. And then she introduced the hair and makeup people first and had them all off the runway. And they stopped at the end and had their pictures taken. And then they exited. Now, so by the first time,
This happened in New York?
No, this was in North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's awful. So
I was about to make a phone call like, yo, I just heard.
I went for two nights of it and then went, I'm never doing this again. So the first garment actually hit the runway about an hour and a half after doors were supposed to start. Oh, yeah, before it was supposed to start. So, okay, we're now sweating. We're all sick of it. And after all the models walked for the first collection, the first designer, they started to filter into the crowd a little bit, and they grabbed their families and they left. And so the second designer people came out and walked, and then the models got finished and they filtered out through the sides and came in through the doors, and they grabbed their families and they left. So by the end of the night, there's one handful of sweaty people left looking at the last designer stuff. They were all relatives of the models. Otherwise, empty. And I went, holy crap. So these models are forced to fill these seats. You know that they're forced to fill these seats.
They probably had to sell tickets, which I think is so stupid.
And
but
so,
you know that's still going on, Sharan.
Well, I don't. You know what? I know, and I hear that horror story. It will never, ever, ever, never, ever happen. Even when I'm dead and gone, that will never happen over here. It just makes me like I want to cry right now because it's so wrong.
But this is the kicker. I'm going to give you 20 tickets, and if you don't sell them, then you have to pay the fee.
Right.
You have to pay for the tickets that you didn't sell.
Yeah.
You know how you get my tickets? on Eventbrite. That's how you get a ticket for our event.
Now
The in-
another
I'm not printing out
fashion week.
anything. It's crazy.
Another fashion week I got in touch with because
Oh my God, you're making
I have
me
somebody
weird.
just give me VIP so I can come and scout the models, and that's a benefit for the models. But this particular one said, yeah, you can come and scout the models, but you have to buy 2 VIP tickets to do it.
Oh,
And I thought, you know what? When would I ever pay money to go work? Why would I do that? I'm not going to spend money to go work. What? Like, no, thank you. I think that you'd want your models to have someone like me sitting in the audience that might be able to better their career so that maybe they have an actual benefit of being in your show. But
I think that's a lot of it that's going on, though, is everybody's not out looking to promote themselves or better their career as a model. They just want to be in a fashion show.
right.
So that's what's happening, and that's the quality of models that we're getting.
Are in these fashion shows.
You know, when you put out, I put it like as your flyer, we're having a model call. The models are to wear all black. The females are supposed to be 5'7" on up. Your males are supposed to be 6 feet tall or whatever. So why is it that when I get there to do fittings, there are models that are 5'4", 5'3", 5'4"? I got 2 that were 5'4", and I'm looking at it going, sweetheart, how tall are you? 5'5". And I'm looking going, but I thought the stipulations were 5'7" on up.
But you know how that happens because they come in there with 3 and 4 inch heels.
You're supposed to measure them without heels on.
Without the shoes on.
Right. But I'm talking doing the casting, and I've seen this happen. Doing the casting, they will come in and they have their heels on, but because their heels make them the height requirement, a lot of producers accept it. I can look at a model and see that she's not 5'7".
Exactly.
I was like, sweetie, how tall are you? And I need you to tell me the truth. Oh, I'm 5'4". So why are you here?
Why are you here?
Now
You're going to get mad at me as the producers or the model coordinators because
you can't.
What are you mad at me? I can't use her.
You can't follow directions. So this is not for you.
I've had some people. I've saw some designers that there's a couple of girls that I have that are just, they're so strong in their walks. They're just amazing on the runway, and they're 5'7", and yet the same designers that had used them before will come to me like the following year and say something like, I want all my models to be 5'9" and up. And then I'll go, well, what about Dakota? Oh, I love her. I'm like,
Right.
yeah, but you want her to walk? She's 5'7". She's not
Right.
5'9". And then they go, oh, okay. And then I'll go, and what about Peyton?
That's just the frustrating part as a designer, though. If you're telling me that these are your stipulations, why am I going to make something for someone 5'4", and you already said everybody was 5'7" or taller, so now I've got this gown that's dragging on the ground, which you're not going to walk in because I'm not going to use you.
Right.
And I'm like, I can't use you, sweetheart. Now you want to know those are the models that have gotten upset and they're over to the side crying because you, as the model coordinators or producers, have told them they're going to be in the show. Now they paid you to be in the show.
Yeah, right.
But they can't be used because nobody's picking them at 5'5", 5'4", 5'5". It's not happening.
So when the models are getting paid before they're even selected by a designer?
Say it again.
Models are being paid before they're even selected by a designer.
They paid to be in it, is what she's talking about.
No, they're paid to be in the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that's why they're over there upset.
It's all backwards
outside. And that is my godmother, and I'm going to do what she says. Cal Catrone, I love her. I love her.
That's our industry. This is what is chalked up to be now.
This is what we're dealing with. Well, you know, I've come to realize something because I started doing all this webcam talk with a bunch of people all the time, and I've started to realize that I need to do more of that. I need to do more.
My camera is backwards and it makes, I don't know which.
You need to do more webcam.
more webcams, more getting online, more video telling people, this same kind of conversation. I want to kind of bust open the whole process of how these people are going from, oh, I saw an ad about being a model, to ending up in a situation where they're still getting rejected. I'm going to blast out a whole bunch of information about how that occurs and why it's happening so often and how people are falling for it and wasting a lot of money.
Lot of money.
Yeah.
Lot of money.
You
Cool.
can put it out there, but they still gonna keep paying.
And that's what it is. If we're doing it and we're talking about it.
If they got the money and somebody's promising them a lollipop dream, and you got 3 people here that say, "Oh yeah, girl, I paid that money last year and I walked 6 times."
That is. As long as they can walk, they think it's fine. They think they're this, they think they're that, and we're not getting anywhere. We're not getting it. We have us upset designers that trying to figure out what's going on, what happened. Just want to know what happened.
Well,
that would be me.
I am an advocate for everything that you're saying. I'm going to, get out there as much as possible and be a force to try and explain to people.
That's Tracy explained. That's your job.
Yeah, this is the consensus of the people in this industry, that they're not happy with the quality of models anymore. So everybody stop fake Instagram modeling and start to realize that you should actually look to a coach and find out what qualifications they had to be a coach in the first place.
And I don't want to hear, I didn't know. No one told me. And I get that a lot.
That's the problem, but no one is telling them.
Then that's what it is. I didn't know.
Yeah.
Well, Ms. Angie, that's the first time I've ever heard that. What? Are you serious? So like I say, you hear the chatter behind, or I'll get the phone call or the message. You go, well, what? That's why the girl asked, well, what do we learn from? Really? No one has ever taught you or told you where you can go to get proper training from?
I was told by a major corporate, big company that does training that I was overqualified and that they wouldn't hire me as a coach because they like to have people who are fresh out of school and new, and that they wanted to pay them $12 an hour.
And that's all the sachet walking. No one knows how to do a straight runway walk anymore.
Oh my God, please
like
don't
we were taught to put a book on your head and walk. Keep your hands by your side. Hold your head up. Keep your head level. I don't need to see up your nose. Everything is this sachet walking, all this hips. And
we don't do that in Baltimore. We don't do that at my show.
Exactly.
In North Carolina, they told me that was an urban fashion show.
What's that?
I went,
I don't know.
It's an urban fashion show. And I went, so that's what you're calling this now? And they went, yeah, that's what.
But no, because even during Style Week, kind of sort of like streetwear urban. They don't walk like that in New York.
They don't walk like that. No.
They don't.
No. And excuse me, isn't New York kind of like urban?
It's kind of urban, chic, boho. It's a little bit of everything.
Everything
you don't see during Style Week is that. You will not see that.
Yeah.
That's the problem that I had, and I do more couture clothing. But because you don't know how to do a straight runway walk, you want to do the sachet and you want to spread your legs so far that you can't figure out why my gown isn't going that way, because it is a straight A-line gown and you want to have this walk that they do in the colleges. You cannot do that with this. You weren't taught to do a straight run. This is a straight runway walk. Oh.
Did you just throw the gynecologist into this conversation?
This is it.
No, ladies.
Sharan, you started this.
I did. And I'm glad I did. And I hope everybody that watches this video will take some type of nugget from it because we dropped quite a few hundred tonight. And it's not, and I'll end it. And I think I said this in the beginning. It's not a bashing session,
And not at
but
all.
people don't know, they'll never learn. And
Exactly.
if they keep doing repeated bad habits, they'll always do repeated bad habits. And then they wonder why this one model that's 5'7" that has been walking with us since she was 14 walks in
Mhm.
every designer's collection. And she's 5'7".
Okay.
She walks in every designer's collection every year. She's so good. She don't even have to come to the cast. She comes every year though. But I was like, why are you here? Are you walking a lot? She says yes. So I give her paperwork. She sends it back to me and we're done. Like, I have like maybe a good 15, 20 models that if they come to the casting, they don't even have to stay. Like,
You
I
know.
don't really expect them to stay. I was like, okay, leave your form, put your number on it. Let's take your picture because every year I take their picture and send you to the designers and I'll add you to the sheet. I'll see you at the fitting. That's it. They don't have to walk again because they have a history with us, and
Mhm.
those are the ones that we're like, yo, why are you walking in every collection again this year? She did the same thing in New York. She's 5'7".
It's because she's
5'7".
awesome.
They're
Well, if
walking,
that is my
two of them,
that's my
but the other one is 5'7".
all I need you to do is learn a straight runway walk before you learn anything else. That's all I'm asking.
Well,
Learn the knowledge, go look it up, go read about it, go get training.
just
Something.
like pockets. Let's talk about pockets for a minute.
Okay.
Pocket, when you put your hands in a pocket, it should be a feather-like movement. I
Okay.
should not see your knuckles. It should not look like you have pineapples in your pocket. When you take off a blazer on a runway, the audience should never see the inside of your
Oh
blazer.
my God, thank you. What
They should never see the inside of your blazer. Never.
balling up a gown on a runway. You
Holding
just
it.
take it and
Why
ball it.
are you touching? Why are you touching? Oh my God. If they come to me and they have on a maxi dress and they reach for it, I was like, what are you about to do? What are you doing? Your feet are made to move that garment out the way. If
No,
you can't
no,
out
nobody's
the way,
teaching that. Nobody,
yo, I can't. I can't. Look at
no one
Tracy.
is teaching that.
I teach that.
It's
They
crazy.
ball the gown up and pull it up. Now I see the shoes, like I say, that you've been wearing all week long to work. Nobody is teaching you how to walk in a gown.
Wow. Wow.
It's crazy.
I get that. It drives me crazy. And so, as designers, before you put your merchandise, your garments on a runway, if it's a particular look that you're looking for, you need to show them how you want that garment worn. So sometimes it's not the model's fault because I do a lot of versatile stuff. Mine might flip up, flop down, or whatever. If you didn't teach them or show them that before they walk, you can't be mad.
Right.
That's true.
You know, some of the girls that I work with, when they did their first show, their very first show, they were pulled aside at the model call and all the other models were told to watch them walk. And then another time, well, a few other times, my girls on their first show out there ever, they opened the show, closed the show, and walked the designer because they were the favorite. But
Gotta
that,
be that way
I
sometimes.
make sure they're that good before they walk on the stage. I don't want them up there.
I don't have a problem with newcomers at all. Welcome. Just learn before you hit the runway. That's all. I'm not bashing nobody and I'm not bashing any designer because we all are good and we all got our own clientele. I'm just saying, if you're a model, don't get a bad red flag on your back because you want to be a model, but no one showed you the proper way to do it. So now no one wants you.
Right.
Get some help. That's all. We're going to go there, Miss Sharan,
help.
ready to roll.
Qualified help. Get some help from somebody who can show a record of having trained successful models
Exactly.
instead of somebody that's just been, part of a sales pitch.
We can change this world, ladies. We're gonna change this industry. We can do it.
I think
Oh
so.
yeah, we're gonna do it. We won't do
I
it
think
tonight
so.
though.
It's
Yeah, I
necessary.
know that's right. I know that's right.
The
Because I got 3
It's
contracts I got to review, so it won't happen tonight.
been a pleasure to talk to you, ladies.
Oh,
It was, thank you, ladies. So in closing, I'm Sharon. Let's go over we had McKinley here. He had to leave. He was a photographer, he's a professional photographer, and he had a studio shoot or something in his studio. So he had to leave. So he was here. But if you're listening to my voice right now, you saw him and then you saw him exit. So we also have Angela.
Angela Couture.
What was it? Okay.
Look, my mother, when I was
Your
born, she said
mother.
my grandmother named me, and she put an I in there. She don't know why. Angela
Okay, and
Couture.
Mama Angela's Couture is a design. Raise your hand, Angela. Yay! Okay, so that's Angela Couture. You're in Virginia, right?
From Virginia.
Okay, so she's in Richmond, Virginia. I don't know if you've seen it, but her collection is amazing. It's very transformable, and she is awesome. She usually does a really big show. I saw her show. I think it was a couple of years ago. It was at they had a festival that day, but Kevin made me come.
Kevin,
And
yeah. Kevin had a show.
yes, so I saw you then, and it was awesome. And then we have
Thanks.
Tracy Gray, a Gray Model and Talent located in North Carolina. Ladies and gentlemen, she is the creme de la creme. She just acquired Raleigh Durham Fashion Week.
That's mine.
Okay, Raleigh Durham Fashion Week. So she
So
will be putting on her own show very soon.
So yeah,
Probably.
I'm licensed in Florida as an agent. So I do a lot of bookings in Florida. I've got a branch in Texas and I've got North Carolina.
All right now.
And so I'm Sharan Nixon. You all know who I am, the crazy chick on Facebook, but the no nonsense person during the show. So
That's right.
we all bid you a good evening. Please follow all of us on Facebook. You can find Tracy Gray. Her logo is a G, black background with a G,
Yeah.
and
Just let me say this real quick. There's one Facebook profile that I have that has my face and my fiance's face, black and white. Black and white. Well, it's one of these pictures that I have of the two of us, and that one I've maxed out my friends. I have over 5,000 friends on that Facebook page. So I have. I
just follow you.
Yeah, there you go.
So yeah, the one with my logo, the G, that's one that worked. So if you want me to accept a friend request, then go to the one with my logo.
So ladies, on a Friday night, because we're all professionals and we never sleep, I thank you all for your time, for being here tonight and being my guest of episode 3 of an interview with. It's been awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
I'll talk to you all soon. Thank you so much for your time.
All right. Have a good one.
Okay, bye.
Bye. We all.